So before we get into your UH career, let's talk about your story growing up, being from Lelehua. How did you play football and all of these kind of things?
Growing up, I grew up at the parks, literally. Whatever sport it was, baseball, soccer. It was mainly baseball and soccer for a long time. I didn't play football until 6th grade, and then my first year in football. And well, at first I wanted to play flag football, but my dad was like, "Bro, if you're gonna play football, we're gonna play football.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna play tackle." So it took me a while to build up that courage, but once I did, I fell in love with the game immediately. That first year, we won a championship, and there was something about the game that I could never turn my shoulder against, turn my back on anymore. As the years went by, I grew more passion and love for the game, and in high school, had a great career there. Was able to be a part of a state championship run. We didn't win the game, but that was huge for our community, for our town, for my career, for a lot of things. It kind of just boosted that, even more of that energy. Man, playing in front of that state championship game, there was about 19,000 people, and I think that sealed the deal. Like, bro, this is what I want to do. That vibe, that feeling of the stadium roaring it's something you can't explain, and that really was the hook, line, and sinker right there. That was it for me.
That's really interesting. So you started, most Hawaii athletes, everyone that I talk to, we're multi-sport athletes growing up because, there's everything to play year round, right?
Yeah.
But you played mostly baseball and soccer. So for baseball, what did you play when you were younger growing up?
Growing up, I was a pitcher, played all of the infield, but crazy, I don't know, it's kind of crazy because as I started to play football more, my throwing for baseball became worse. Okay. Like, I don't know how that, you can ask a lot of people and they'll tell you that I suck at throwing a baseball. And people would say like, "Oh, right, you can almost throw the football like as far as you throw the baseball. Like, why is that?" And I don't know, somehow my football motion threw that off. But I played varsity as a freshman. So I was pretty talented in baseball. Soccer, I made all-state in high school. Like you said, I think we're in a fortunate place in Hawaii because we get to play sports year-round. And a lot of our kids are versatile and athletic, And I always believe that when you play multiple sports, in whatever sport you decide to choose, those other sports will help you excel at that sport. Like playing baseball made me a better football player. Playing soccer made me a better football player. Like all those things. So,
no doubt. What position did you play in soccer?
In soccer, I played fullback. I was defense, and it was good because coming off a football season, like, now it's my turn to give the hits, Like anybody coming across the middle on a corner was getting lit up.
Yeah, that is, it's funny because I played a little soccer in high school too. I played when I was growing up, but Hawaii soccer is more like physical. It's not so much the finesse.
Oh, definitely.
It's just like almost football, but a little bit more regulated.
Yeah, almost football.
That's like high school soccer in Hawaii.
I used to get, one of my teammates was like, avid soccer player, like how like whether if you get clipped, like they'll fall on the ground and hold their ankle, and that used to piss me off. I'd be like, bro, get up, stop doing that. Like we don't. Hawaii, we don't do that. We're playing, like, come on.
Yes. So it's so interesting because that was going to be my question, was like, how did everything help you as a quarterback? And like even baseball, a lot of baseball players, when they do play football, they do play quarterback or some of the skilled positions because of the, either the throwing motion for you, or the hand-eye coordination, or even for soccer, right? It's all the footwork stuff that you get to move in ways that maybe you don't necessarily move as much in football, but it really translates into when you gotta scramble. When you gotta do all of these things,
I mean, the coordination to play with your feet, like, I feel like every kid should play soccer. Just playing with your feet, like that's a hard task. Baseball, being able to track a ball that's traveling at 80, 90 miles an hour, you know what I mean? Like, that's a skill that's pretty hard to it's something you can't just pick up. Like, you gotta grow up playing it and learn it and train that hand-eye coordination. And I always said in football that DBs get a lot of bad rap because they're the guys they're great skills but no hands, right? Like that's kind of the rap that DBs get.
Unfortunately.
But I always said, like, if a DB played baseball, or I could tell when a DB did play baseball or didn't play it, because they have that ability to kind of track the ball in the air.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of times they go up in the air and they're missing the ball, and it's like, bro, how did you miss that? But they just that hand-eye coordination has never been trained. And as kids, it's easy because we're just playing a game, you know, but you don't know that you've been training that skill throughout all those years.
Yeah.
So I definitely encourage parents, sign up your kids for as much sports as you can.
Yeah, and you learn so many other life lessons too, which we can talk about later. Yeah.
The load. I mean,
tons.
sports. I love sports for all of those reasons. You know, discipline, teamwork, commitment, all of those things, sacrifice, everything. You know, so much good stuff.
Yes. So it's so interesting that you mentioned a little earlier that, you know, as you started throwing more football, that your baseball mechanics got worse, right? And, you know, people think, well, it's a throwing motion, but the size, the release point, everything is different. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that, you know, one kind of took over and then the other one kind of took a back seat.
Right.
But at the same time, the throwing motion, your arm strength and everything like that, I think baseball really helped you when it came to being a quarterback in football.
Oh, for sure.